In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to network pixel LED controllers. For this tutorial, I'm going to use two T-1000S pixel LED controllers. These are the cheapest pixel LED controllers that are available. This pixel LED controller only have one port and you can only control 2048 pixels using that single port. So that is the limitation of this pixel LED controller. What if you had to control more than the amount that this pixel LED controller can handle? There are two options. You can either network pixel LED controllers or you can go to a high-end pixel LED controller, which is expensive than buying multiple of these pixel LED controllers. You can get a good deal if you're buying these pixel LED controllers in bulk. So without going to a high-end multi-port pixel LED controller, you can design a system that contains large amount of pixel LEDs by networking these pixel LED controllers. As you can see, we have SD card for each pixel LED controller numbered. This one I'm going to use as the first pixel LED controller in the network. This one is the second. Likewise, you can add more pixel LED controllers to the network. Alright, this is the power cord I'm going to use to power these pixel LED controllers. This is the GST connectors to connect the pixel LEDs. Alright, this is the power supply I'm going to use. This one is 30 ampere, 5 volts. These are the cheapest power supplies you can buy. No brand name. Don't buy these power supplies. If you are doing this as a business, don't use these power supplies. These power supplies will go bad. Use a branded power supply like Meanwell. These are cheap and they will go bad frequently. So, alright, let's network these two controllers. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the power to the controllers. Alright, let's start it. I'm going to loosen the terminal screws for the power input. Okay, since I'm using 5 volt power supply, I'm going to input this power through the ground and 5 volt input of the controller. Okay, red one is the positive, black and red one is the negative. Alright, I'm going to do the same to the other controller as well. Alright, as you can see, we have a common power input through these wires. Now we have the power for the controllers. Let's connect the GST connectors to the controller. So since we are using a common power supply for the pixel LEDs and the pixel LED controllers, we only have to connect the data line. So this one is the data line. I'm going to connect the data line. We don't have to connect the data ground since we are using the same power supply. Alright, I'm going to do the same to the other controller as well. The pixel LED string in this case WS2811. If you have a pixel string that require clock input, you need to connect the clock as well. Alright, these are the wires supply the power to the pixel LED strings. Okay, let's connect this to the power supply. This one is negative, mind the color. This one is positive. Alright, let's connect the power. Start with the power to the controllers. These three terminals of the power supply is positive and the other three terminals are negative. So let's connect. Let's connect the power wires of the pixel LED string to the power supply. Red one is the positive, yellow is the negative or ground. Alright, let's network these two controllers using these jumper cables. If you look at the last four terminals of these pixel LED controllers, you will see input A, input B, output A, and output B labels. These are the ports we are going to use to network these two controllers. This is the first pixel LED controller in the network. This is the second one, 3 and 4, so on. And the output of the previous pixel LED controller should connect to the inputs of the next pixel LED controller. That's how you network. The A should connect to A, the B should connect to B. So the output A of this pixel LED controller should connect to input A of this pixel LED controller. The output B of this pixel LED controller should connect to the input B of this pixel LED controller. Alright, let's connect this. I'm going to use the white wire for the A connection. Alright, the output A of this controller should connect to the next pixel LED controller's input A. This one is the B connection. The output of the previous pixel LED controller should connect to the B input of the next pixel LED controller. Alright, let's say you have a third pixel LED controller here. You need to connect these two, output A of this pixel LED to the input A of that pixel LED controller, and the output B of this pixel LED controller to the input B of the next or the third pixel LED controller. Alright, that's how you network. It's simple. Let's program the pixel LED controllers and see what it looks like when connected to the pixel LED strings. Alright, let's start programming. I'm going to use LEDEdit version 2.4. Alright, the first thing, as we always talk about, creating a new project. Click on File and select New Project. Alright, in this case, I'm going to use T-1000S with WS2811 pixel LED string. So it's already selected, and I'm going to leave other settings as defaults. Alright, click OK. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to create a layout. I'm going to Project Configuration and click on start manual layout. Alright, for this tutorial, to demonstration purposes, I'm going to create a line layout, 2 lines for each pixel LED controller. So, okay, let's start doing that. I'm going to first create the ports. This one is the port 1, and I'm going to, for the first pixel LED controller, and then I'm going to create another port for the second pixel LED controller. You can add more port. Port in this case means pixel LED controller, which because of this T-1000S pixel LED controller only have 1 port. So every port in this case is a new controller. You can add more. Alright, I'm going to click on this light horizontal, and I'm going to add this. I'm going to add the layout. So I'm going to add pixels to the layout. Okay, click on light horizontal. Alright, I'm going to add 50 pixel LEDs for this line, and I'm going to click here again, then go back to light horizontal. Then I'm going to add, if you don't want to add, click on escape button, light horizontal. Alright, I'm going to create the second line. This one also have 50 LEDs. Alright, now we have 2 lines plus the ports. I'm going to connect these ports to these lines. Port in this case can connect up to 2048 pixel LEDs. Okay, as you can see, you can create any layout. You can use auto layout to create your layout without creating the ports. It will automatically create the ports depending on the input you given. Let's connect these 2 ports to these strings. Alright, this is the line tool. I'm going to click on the port, then on the first pixel LED. Alright, then I'm going to do the same to the second. Click on the port, then the pixel LED string. Now we are done here. Alright, as you can see, port 1 have 50 LEDs connected and port 2 have 50 LEDs. I'm going to save this layout, file save as, and let's save as 6. Alright, so it saves as a CXP file. Alright, I'm going to close this layout creator, manual layout creator window. Now back on the LEDEdit, I'm going to project configuration and click on import CXP. Alright, going to the location. Alright, select the CXP file we just created, and it will say 0 failed LED lights. Okay, now you can see we have 2 ports, which means 2 controllers connected to this layout. Alright, I'm going to select the program 1, and I'm going to select the custom animation I just created to demonstrate this synchronization between the controllers, the pattern synchronization. So I'm going to the desktop and select these SWF files. I'm going to select the second animation, which is a moving dot animation. Alright, I'll show you. Alright, this is the animation. As you can see, for the demonstration purposes, I have created each line with different color. This dot animation, you can see that. Alright, I'm going to record this animation by clicking on the record button. I'm going to stop. Okay, now we recorded that animation. I'm going to close the video effect, and I'm going to click here to edit that animation. Alright, I'm going to capture I'm going to delete the frames that I don't want. I want to capture one circle of this animation. Alright, going to select all these frames, and I'm going to right click and click on delete because I don't want these frames. Alright, okay, now we are at the beginning. I'm going to the end. Alright, as you can see, from this point on, I don't want that recordings. Okay, this is the last. Okay, I'm going to delete them. Now this is the one circle of that animation captured in this software. Alright, this is only for demonstration purposes. You don't have to worry about this. You can create anything, any video, any animation. You can create any layout. Alright, stop. Alright, now I'm going to exit the edit mode. Click on yes to save the animation or recorded animation. Now I'm going to click on export, and I'm going to select export effect and select I'm going to leave these settings as defaults and click on OK and select the desktop. Alright, now we have our effect. If you're creating a panel layout, let's say most of the time people create panel layouts, so I'll show you how to do that also. Okay, click on project configuration and click on here auto layout, and you need to import the amount of maximum LEDs per each port. So let's go to about, let's say we are creating, let's say 64 by 64. I'm going to select the connecting pattern. Alright, this one would be good. Alright, click OK. Now, since you input the maximum number of lights per each port, in this case 2048, that is true for T-1000S pixel LED controller. Alright, click OK. Click OK. As you can see, we have already, if you go to the layout tab, you can see the ports being automatically created for your layout. Now you don't have to worry about creating ports. It automatically creates ports for the given number of maximum pixels per port. Each port in this case means a new pixel LED controller. This one separately connect to one pixel LED controller, and this one connects to the other pixel LED controller. There's no connection between these two pixel LED strings, but there's the connection between the controllers. So you don't have to connect these two pixel LED strings, these two groups of pixel LED strings. This whole thing works as a one unit without having to worrying about that. If I select the video effect and apply it to the layout, right, as you can see, it works as a one unit, but to have two separate controllers. That is what is important about networking pixel LED controllers. Create a program for networked pixel LED controllers. Let's move to the output. Once you create your export your content or the animation effect, if you go inside the LED folder that created by the LEDEdit software, you can see controller 1 program and controller 2 program separately saved. Go inside this folder and copy this file and save it to the first pixel LED controllers SD card, and go inside again, insert the second pixel LED controllers SD card and copy the controller 2, the file inside the controller 2 folder, to the second controller's SD card. You have individual SD card for each controller. They will work together and create the LED effect you need. Alright, there are two pixel LED strings which connects to these two pixel LED controllers separately. This is the first LED, pixel LED of this string. I'm going to connect it to the second, to the second pixel LED controller. Alright, this is the first pixel LED of this pixel LED string. I'm going to connect it to the first pixel LED controller. Alright, now we have the connections. Let's see how it will work. These are the SD cards. This one is for the first or the master pixel LED controller in the network. This one is for the second, which contains the second pixel LED controller's program. Alright, we are ready to go. Let's power this system and see what will happen. Alright, let's see what will happen when we press the buttons on the second pixel LED controller. I'm going to press the speed minus button to reduce the speed. As you can see, nothing is happening. I'm going to speed up using this speed plus button. Alright, I'm going to change the mode. As you can see, none of these button functions working. However, if you press the buttons on this controller, I'm going to press speed minus. Right, as you can see, it works. If you want to increase the speed, it works too. Alright, now you can see what's happening here. The button functions only work on the master or the first pixel LED controller in the network. The button functions of the other pixel LED controllers on the network will not work. Alright, as you can see, the pattern is working perfectly. I'm going to take the last pixel LEDs of each controller and let's see what will happen. As you can see, both LEDs illuminate at the same time, which means there is the synchronization of these controllers. There's no delay in the pattern, which means we can design a large pixel system by networking these pixel LED controllers. Alright, thank you for watching. See you in another tutorial. I'm Senil for LearnItStepByStep.com.